Hey folks, got a new Generation 5 battle for you. This is against lKotone, who I met on Aber's Asylum, and anyway, he leads off with his Gliscor, Pokemon who I hate, but I lead off with my Gardevoir, and I go ahead and trace his Poison Heal, so this is obviously Dreamworld Gliscor, and anyway, I set up a Magic Coat, figuring that he was going to set up Stealth Rock, and instead he used Taunt, so I don't have to worry about him setting up for a little while. Because he's just taunted himself thanks to that Magic Coat. I really love Magic Coat. It's a really, really awesome move. But anyway, I go ahead and switch in Puff, thinking it's a safe switch, thinking that he was going to switch out. But instead he used Facade, breaking my Magic Mirror, not Magic Mirror, Multi-Scale, I'm sorry. But even so, I don't think he can do much to me, so I go ahead and Dragon Dance. Now I'm fearing an Ice Beam from this Vaporeon, but I go ahead and attack anyway, thinking that I might be able to take it out. Instead, it uses Roar, which really surprised me, and drags out my River, my Mineshaw. I'm going to go ahead and U-turn out because I think that he was going to switch, but I just don't want. I really should have used a high jump kick in that case and just killed it. But anyway, I go ahead and send in my HCHB, and this is obviously a Wishing Vaporeon, a pretty standard step. So it's almost certainly going to protect on the next turn. Yeah, it does. You see, it does. So I'm going to go ahead and get off a safe Shell Smash to double my attack, special attack, and speed. Special attack doesn't really matter on this set of my Terracosta, but it is what it is. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and, so yeah, it gets its wish, and it's basically back up to full HP, or well, not full HP, but it's backed up to pretty high HP. But I go ahead and use Rock Slide, and granted it doesn't have the best accuracy, but it does hit, and it is enough to take him out, so I'm pretty happy there. Next out for him is a Rotom Wash form, and I was hoping I would outspeed it, but it's obviously Scarfed. It's got the Volt Chain, the Volt Switch, which is enough to get me down to my Sturdy, which is less than ideal, because now I'm going to have to fear anyone who carries priority, and he goes ahead and sends out Miltank, and unfortunately he gets some luck and the Rock Slide misses, and so I go ahead and pull out because I'm not sure what this Miltank is going to do, and I don't know if I can kill it, so I go ahead and send in River, my Mineshaw, just to one-hit KO with a high jump kick, I figure, but he predicts that and switches back into his Gliscor, so that high jump kick is not going to do very much. Actually, it does a fair amount because I got a crit, but I'm locked into that right now, and so I know it's not going to do anything, so I'm going to have to switch out, and I go ahead and send my Gardevoir back out, thinking that it's going to set up Stealth Rock. So he Toxics me, but that's actually going to help me at this point because I have Poison Heal, or rather I have his Poison Heal. So he gets off a Roost, and I'm going to go ahead and, I guess he was predicting that I would use Magic Coat, but I go ahead and use Grass Knot here just to see how much it does, and I was actually predicting the Roost, and it does a fair amount, and so if he were to keep roosting, he would probably die. But so anyway, he goes ahead and switches in his Jirachi, and there's really nothing I can do with that Jirachi with my Gardevoir, so I'm going to be forced to switch out here. I'm thinking, it's called Scarfed, and so I'm wondering whether, he's playing a mind game with me, and indeed he is. It's not a Scarfed Jirachi at all. And so he gets off, this is a Screener, which is actually kind of interesting, but so he gets off a Light Screen, and then U-turns out, and so that's going to be bad for me, especially for my Poop, because that's my Galvantula, because it's a special attacker primarily. And so I'm going to be forced to switch in. I predict the Fire Blast here, and quite well, and so my Ikea gets a boost from Flash Fire and forces his switch. I'm going to go ahead and attack it, and I miss again, and it's just so frustrating, but I figure, why would he switch him in? That's kind of a stupid move, right? I mean, what can he do to me? He can set up Stealth Rocks, which is interesting, but and quite unfortunate since I don't have a spinner on this team. But I'm going to go ahead and Calm Mind because I really don't think he can do anything to me, so I'm just predicting the switch. Of course, anyone who's seen Miltank before knows what's coming, but so it's just, I figured maybe it's just trying to stall me out. I mean, I don't have that many PPs on my Fire Blast, so I just go ahead and keep on Calm Minding, hoping to get up the maximum, hoping to do the maximum amount of damage here. And then it Seismic tosses me. I'm like, what the heck? And of course, its ability is Scrappy. This isn't even a Dream World ability. This was around in Gen 4. Scrappy allows it to hit ghost types. Luckily, I don't one-hit KO it as I was expecting to, but I do get the burn hacks, so I'm hoping that it'll be enough to kill it, but unfortunately not so much, what with its leftovers and all. So now the light screen is down, and that is what saved its life. But I go ahead for a 100% accurate hidden power to kill this thing. And next up for him is Rotom, and I'm just hoping to lock him into a Hydro Pump, but unfortunately he goes ahead and Volt Switches, and so at least I'm going to have the switch priority, but that is the end of my my Chandelure, rather. Okay, so anyway, I go ahead and send my Foop back out, and go ahead and Thunder it before it can set up another light screen. And as you can see, it does a lot of damage, and I get the Para Hacks, which is really nice. Unfortunately, don't get the paralysis. He's not paralyzed on that turn, so he is able to set up the light screen, and so my attacks are not going to do very much anymore. But luckily, I do get the defense drop here, which is really nice. So now he sets up a Reflect, wanting to get the dual screens up, and I'm going to go ahead and take it out with Bug Buzz, hopefully, and yes I do take it out with Bug Buzz, but unfortunately I'm down to basically no HP. Next up for him is Flygon, and which is pretty safe for him now that my Flash Fire Pokemon is gone. I go ahead and Sucker Punch it, and it goes ahead and goes for the Outrage, which is not good, because I don't have anyone who to resist it. I go ahead and send in my HCHB. I thought that this would kill off a turn of Outrage, but it doesn't, and I figured that I couldn't really do anything here. I have Magic Wish on my Gardevoir, but I misunderstood how Healing Wish works, as you're about to see. I'm probably actually going to... This is probably the last battle you will see. What I'm trying to say is I'm probably going to switch out Gardevoir fairly soon, because Healing Wish does not do what I thought it did. What I thought it did was act after entry hazards, as you're about to see, so that it would bring the Pokemon back up to full HP after entry hazards. But as you're about to see, it heals before the entry hazards, so gets my Puff back up to full HP, but then the entry hazards hit, and so it's not exactly worthwhile, because its whole point was, one of its big points was to counter for the fact of entry hazards with my two Pokemon that rely on having maximum HP for at least one turn, and that's my Puff, my Magic Dragonite, and my Caracosta. So anyway, I've really got no choice here. I'm just going to have to keep on Dragon Dancing, and luckily I've got the Lumberry, so that's going to burn off one turn of poison. It's going to burn off one of his turns and get me up to another Dragon Claw. So I'm going to, another plus one. I'm not being clear here. I'm sorry, folks. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get over this cold. Anyway, the Toxic's just going to do more and more, and I'm really hoping that I'm going to be able to kill it before the light screen wears off completely. So I just keep on Dragon Clawing, and I know I have one more turn before the Reflect goes down, and he just keeps healing up, and this is just not good for me at all. And I'm down to pretty low HP here. Yeah, so here the Reflect wears off, and I go ahead and use Dragon Claw, which is going to do more than half. And yeah, this is a really interesting Gliscor set. It doesn't seem to be doing much attacking. Pretty much all it's doing is support moves. But I go ahead and Dragon Claw, and this is going to kill it, finally. So I've taken down his Batman, his Gliscor. But now I'm going to die to poison, and I'm down to, one Pokemon left. He's got his Rotom Wash form up, and I've got my Kajundo, my Mindshell. And so I'm going to go ahead and High Jump Kick, hoping that it's going to be enough to kill it. And I'm really expecting that it is, but it isn't enough to kill it. And now he has the Hydro Pump, and I'm really hoping that I can survive this. But unfortunately I don't, and that is good.